All right, so LTX Video 2.3 has been out for a bit now, and if you've been sleeping on it, let me tell you why you shouldn't be. I've spent a serious amount of time with this model. I built a free Kaggle notebook specifically for it, and today I'm going to show you everything, the good, the bad, the artifacts, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to run this model on Kaggle completely for free. No complex setup, no paid subscriptions, nothing. I've already done the hard part, so you don't have to. So before I get into the notebook, let me give you a quick rundown of what's actually changed in this version. They bumped the parameters from 19 billion up to 22 billion, and with that comes a list of improvements they're claiming. Sharper fine details, cleaner audio, stronger motion, and better prompt adherence. The one that actually excites me, though, is native portrait mode. LTX 2 flat out could not generate natively in 9:16. You had to hack around it. Version 2.3 just does it. And they've strengthened the image-to-video pipeline and the first and last frame feature, which I'll be testing live. Their example footage looks incredibly sharp, like genuinely 4K level detail. Now keep in mind, I'm running the distilled model, not the full base model, so my results won't hit that ceiling. But let's see where they land. I've done a lot of tests, so let's get into it. All right, first generation. You can see the prompt on screen right now. Go ahead and pause if you want to read through it. This is a text-to-video generation at 540p. Check it out.
Has anybody seen my mommy?
Okay, so that's pretty solid for a distilled model running on a free GPU tier. I've generated at different resolutions throughout my testing, some at 720p, some at 540p, some at 480p, and most of these are 5-second clips. I did push a few to 10 seconds. Going beyond 10 seconds on the free tier gets painful. If you drop down to 480p, you might squeeze out 20 seconds, but we'll get to that. Let's keep going. Next prompt. You can see it on screen. It's a wide shot of a queen in regal attire, full costume, the whole thing. This is pure text to video. Check out what came out.
This kingdom will not fall. Not today.
And it's decent. The generation itself is good. The character looks the part. I ran it again with the exact same prompt, same settings, and this is what came back.
This kingdom will not fall. Not today.
See, that's the nature of diffusion models. You run the same prompt twice and you can get something noticeably better, or you can get more artifacts. This second run has its own issues too. But here's the upside. You're on a free tier. Regenerating costs you nothing except a few minutes. So if your first run doesn't hit, just go again. All right, next one. This next prompt was asking the subject to deliver a line with a fearful expression, emotional delivery. I want to show you how well it handled that. Check this out.
Don't make a sound. It can hear us.
Now that one I was impressed by. The fear in the expression actually reads on screen. The delivery is there and the overall composition is clean. Okay, now let's push it. This next one is the pretty complex prompt. Two people, split screen, having a dialogue. Very detailed prompt. I went with the 10-second generation because a two-person conversation scene needs the extra time to breathe. Let's see it.
Just calling to remind you not to be late. The reservation is at 7, and do try to wear something that isn't actively on fire.
Oh, don't you worry, you're ridiculously organized little actively on fire.
All right, so here's my honest read on that. The dialogue generation quality is actually good. Both characters are moving naturally. The scene feels coherent. But look at the eyes. Look closely. There are artifacts, and you're going to notice them in almost every photorealistic generation at this resolution with the distilled model. The rest of the generation is solid, but those eye artifacts are a consistent issue. Here's where things get interesting in a different way, though. I wanted to push the motion complexity. This next prompt is a breakdancer performing a fast-spinning flare move on a cardboard mat. High-speed, physically complex movement. Yeah, that's not good. You can see extra limbs, the anatomy breaks down, and the motion just doesn't track correctly. I pushed it further with a ballerina doing a continuous pirouette on a grand stage. Same problem. Limb artifacts, movement breaks, it just falls apart. And one more similar test. So this model is not for high-speed kinetic movement. If your use case is dance videos, fight sequences, sports, this isn't there yet. But for dialogue, cinematic character scenes, emotional close-ups, and especially anything stylized or 3D, it's a completely different story. Let me show you what I mean as we move into image to video. I gave it a first frame image and this prompt, which you can see on screen. Here's the output.
This is the future of AI, and it's already here.
This is the future of AI, and it's already here.
Okay, there are slight eye artifacts again, same as before, but the overall generation is decent, and the dialogue delivery from the first frame image holds up reasonably well. Let me show you another one. This time, the first frame is a man standing on a rooftop in a side pose. Prompt is on screen. Check the output.
I didn't come this far to stop now.
So, right at the start, slight eye issue. Now, I want to be clear about why this happens. This is the distilled model running at a lower resolution. The base model at 1080p or above would clean a lot of this up. The free tier caps us at 720p as a practical limit, so some of this is just the territory we're working in. That's the honest assessment. Next one. The first frame here is a boy and a girl sitting opposite each other at a coffee table. Prompt is on screen. Here's the generation.
You actually tried it?
Again, not bad overall, but you'll catch that eye issue again. Now here's an emotional scene, a mother and daughter. I provided a detailed prompt and a first frame with both characters. Let's see what happened.
I just need you to know I'm here.
Eye artifacts, as expected. But here's what I did. I wasn't happy with that result, so I regenerated it. Same first frame, same prompt, and this came back.
I just need you to know I'm here.
That's noticeably better. The artifacts are still there, but they're reduced. Sometimes the second or third run is significantly better than the first. Don't accept a bad generation as the ceiling, just run it again. Now check this out. I shifted away from photorealistic content and gave it a 3D robot as the first frame. Here's that generation.
I think I figured it out. Smart.
0 artifacts, completely clean, smooth motion, consistent design, it just works. 3D style, cartoon style, stylized content of any kind, this model handles it beautifully. Okay, now let's get into what I think is the most impressive feature in this version, the first and last frame control. This is where you give the model a starting image and an ending image, and it has to figure out how to get from one to the other. I gave it a first frame of a woman standing at ground level, and the last frame is an aerial shot of the same person from directly above. Prompt is on screen. Here's what it generated.
This land only answers to the brave.
That is impressive. The transition is completely natural. The camera starts at eye level, pulls back, rises, and lands on that aerial angle as if it was a real drone shot. Let me show you another one. Same concept. A woman standing with a horse, first frame at ground level, last frame from a high aerial angle. Same idea, different subject. First, I generated it at 5 seconds. Here's that result.
Ride with me or stay behind.
See what happened? 5 seconds wasn't enough time for the transition, so the model cheated. It couldn't organically move the camera from ground level to aerial in 5 seconds, so it just did a hard cut in the middle. So I took the exact same inputs and bumped the duration to 10 seconds. Here's that generation.
Ride with me or stay behind.
That's a completely different result. The camera starts in close, pulls back slowly, rises naturally, and arrives at the aerial angle in one continuous fluid movement. No cut, no jump, just a beautiful camera move that the model generated entirely on its own. When you give it enough time to work with, this feature is genuinely powerful. Now, one more thing before I show you the notebook setup. I went back to the mother-daughter scene I showed earlier. I removed the first frame entirely and ran the same prompt as pure text to video. Here's what came back.
Just need you to know I'm here.
No artifacts, clean generation, good emotional tone, and the scene reads exactly as intended. Sometimes image to video introduces artifacts because the model is anchored to a photorealistic source image and has to maintain that anchor through every frame. All right, let's talk about how to actually run this. And I want to start by explaining why Kaggle specifically, because this matters more than you might think. I spent serious time trying to get this running on Google Colab free tier. I got it running, technically, but generating a single 5-second 720p video was taking between 30 and 40 minutes. That's not a workflow, that's suffering. The reason is Colab free tier gives you around 16 gigabytes of VRAM and very limited RAM on top of that. LTX 2.3 is a 22 billion parameter model. It needs room. Kaggle free tier gives you 16 gigabytes of VRAM and 32 gigabytes of RAM, and that RAM is the actual game changer here. The model offloads components into RAM during inference, which keeps VRAM free for the actual generation. With my notebook on Kaggle, a 5-second 720p generation takes about 10 to 12 minutes. Drop to 540p and you're under 8 minutes. That's workable. You also get 30 hours of free GPU time per week on Kaggle, which is genuinely generous.
So here's how you get set up. The link to my GitHub repo is in the description below. I keep all my notebooks there, and this is the latest one. LTX 2.3 22B distilled Kaggle. Click the Kaggle badge on that repo entry and it'll take you directly to the notebook on Kaggle. Once you're there, hit copy and edit. Now, if you don't have a Kaggle account, make one first. But here's the critical step that trips people up. You have to verify your phone number before you can access any GPU at all. Until you do that, the accelerator option is completely grayed out in your settings. You can see it, you can click it, it just doesn't do anything. Go into your account settings, find the phone verification option, complete it, and your weekly GPU quota activates immediately. Do this before anything else. Once you're verified, open the copied notebook and go to Settings. Under Accelerator, select GPU P100. Do not select T4. The T4 option on Kaggle is a dual T4 configuration, and that's not what we need. We need a single GPU, and the P100 is the one that works for this. Make sure internet access is toggled on, then hit Run All. You'll see it'll connect to the GPU. Once it says draft session running, your cells start executing. The first couple of cells run fast. Dependencies install in about 2 to 3 minutes. You'll see some red warning messages in the output. Just ignore those completely. They don't affect anything. After the dependencies, the model downloads kick off. It's downloading the main LTX model at around 19 gigabytes, the distilled LoRa at about 8 gigabytes, the VAE, video upscalers, temporal components, a lot of files. It sounds like a lot, but Kaggle's download speeds are fast, so it actually moves through quickly. Watch for the message that says all downloads complete. Once you see that, the Gradio launch cell kicks off and starts loading everything into RAM. Your RAM meter will climb up to around 75%. That's completely normal and expected. This step also takes a few minutes. Then your Gradio public link appears in the output, and you're live. The Gradio interface is clean, and I built it to be easy to navigate. You've got your text prompt field at the top. If you want image to video or the first and last frame feature, just toggle that option and both image upload slots appear. The seed is set to -1 by default, which means random. You can lock it manually if you want consistent reruns. For duration, you've got options from 2 seconds all the way up to 20 seconds. Practically speaking, 5 seconds is your sweet spot on the free tier and 10 seconds is doable. Beyond that, it gets very slow. For resolution, 720p and 540p are your best options. I wouldn't bother with 1080p. Even if it technically works, it'll be extremely slow and probably not worth the wait. For aspect ratio, you've got 16:9, 9:16, 1:1, 3:4, and 4:3. So portrait mode is fully supported right in the interface. Hit Generate Video and watch the Kaggle back end. It'll show you exactly what's happening. That's everything. Repo link is in the description. Go grab it. It took me several days to build this notebook and get it running reliably on the free tier. So if this video saved you that headache, a like and a comment genuinely goes a long way. I'll see you in the next one.